The Wolverines have 11 commitments, 6 of them in state, and that's with the start of the college's 1 day camps 2 weeks away. In the past, the players attending those camps would often receive their first scholarship offer. So, look out below. Tom Lemming says the kids are committing to Michigan without even seeing other schools. Michigan State is run into a Michigan buzzsaw. So the Spartans now apparently have to spend more time in Ohio and Chicago to get the players they need. And they do a great job of developing players like Wisconsin and Iowa, but they can't beat Michigan head-to-head in recruiting. They're going to have to beat them on the field. Disheartening to Spartans fans that 6 of the Wolverine commitments in state all had been offered a scholarship by Mark D'Antonio, and they decided instead to go to Michigan. So Brady Hoke is turning up the heat on Mark D'Antonio, trying to turn things around there at the University of Michigan. And that gets the attention, I would think, of Athletic Director David Brandon on the other end of our line this morning. Good morning to you.
You bet, Michael Patrick. Good morning.
You too. What's this I hear about a golf challenge between you and Mark Hollis, the MSU Athletic Director?
It's going fast and furious. We've already drafted our first players and more to come, and it's in July on the 25th. Mark's taking the home course advantage, but we're having a lot of fun.
So it'll be you versus Mark, and then you'll have sort of like a Ryder Cup team of Michigan players?
That's right. I get to choose 4. One has to be over the age of 50, and he gets to choose 4, and we're going to have a 2-man best ball format. At least that's the current situation. Now, we negotiate back and forth, and this thing has been a very dynamic process, but we're having a lot of fun, and eventually Michigan's going to tee it up against Michigan State, and we're going to go out there and have at it.
That's going to be a blast. And you know what? As much as the schools have the rivalry going, it's very nice to see when they can work together on things like this. I was astonished a couple of weeks ago when Lloyd Carr was brought up here to Lansing and was given the Duffy Daugherty Award, and there were a lot of people shocked by that. But, we can have mutual respect, can we not?
Oh, Mark and I work together really well. We obviously have a lot of common interests and a lot of common challenges. And when we get on the court or on the field or in the pool or whatever it may be, the competition is always intense. It's a great rivalry. But at the end of the day, we're both Michigan schools, and we're all looking to accomplish the same thing.
Doesn't go for Notre Dame, though. We want them bad, and we're going to get them under the lights, I understand. A night game at Michigan Stadium and throwback uniforms. That's seen kind of a contrast of things, the modern age of night games versus the throwback uniforms of yesteryear.
Well, that's why we thought it would be fun. I think the throwbacks will look really good under the lights, and it just makes a special event even more special. And it's all about our student-athletes, and I can tell you they are really jazzed up about playing under the lights, and the idea of coming out and sporting a one-off throwback jersey concept is something they're really excited about. So it's going to be a great evening at Michigan Stadium.
I was talking to Frank Beckman about this the other day and Lloyd Carr yesterday, and the throwback uniforms, I didn't know there were any because Michigan really hasn't changed that much over the years. But how far back do you have to go to get a throwback uniform that doesn't look like the one you normally use?
Well, there's 2 ways to approach it. One is to just go back and just pluck one of the uniforms that was used at a particular time in a particular era, or you can go back and take elements of eras of days gone by in terms of the uniform and put them together. And that's kind of what we've chosen to do. We've really borrowed elements from 2 or 3 different uniforms going way back, and it'll make them distinctly different and something that hopefully a lot of people will want to purchase and have as a collector's item. We're only going to make a certain number of them and be available for a certain period of time, so it'll be a fun thing for our fans.
So it's a kind of a composite of Michigan history all in one jersey.
Exactly.
We're still going to play with hard helmets, right?
Yes. All the equipment will be as high-tech as it can be. There will be no sacrifice of quality or the technology that we use in our uniforms today. It'll just be a little bit different look for that night.
Oh, that's going to be a lot of fun and forward-thinking indeed. Lloyd Carr, going into the College Football Hall of Fame, based on my history going all the way back to high school with him, how much that touched me, and we had a chance to catch up yesterday a little bit. Is he going to be a little bit closer to the team now than maybe he was in the Brady Hoke era, you think?
When you say it, then the Brady Hoke era.
I mean, is he going to be closer in the Brady Hoke era than he has been in the Rich Rodriguez era? Is he going to be around more often and that kind of thing?
Well, I expect so, simply because Brady coached for Lloyd for a number of years, and I think they have a wonderful relationship. Lloyd's retired, and he's busy, and he's doing a lot of terrific things, raising money for charity. He and Lori are having a good time traveling, and he still is in high demand for speaking engagements. But whenever we can have him, we'll take him. He's an iconic figure in Michigan football history, and he's a wonderful man, and he's a friend to many of us, and he's always willing to help out in any way he can, and I know he'll continue to do that.
Any surprises there at the Big Ten meetings?
No surprises. We got a full day to go today, but we've been discussing a lot of the topics that I think people anticipated in terms of, the whole issue of the movement to 9 games in conference play, and we're working on a championship game format out into the future, and a whole bunch of things that are important, but I don't think necessarily newsworthy at this point.
All right, we'll keep in close touch, bringing the Big Ten and Michigan into the new era of sports. We're going to have a Big Ten championship game, flashy new scoreboards at Michigan Stadium, throwback uniforms, a night game. David Brandon, all the best to you. We'll chat again soon.
Thanks, Michael Patrick. Go Blue.
He's the Go Blue to the athletic director at the University of Michigan, David Brandon.